We speak of self-discovery as a gift, and our voice as our bridge to others. Yet for one young man his own image was a fatal curse, and for a mountain nymph her words became a silent prison. I'm Nikos, speaking to you from Greece, and today we dive into the tragedy of Narcissus and Echo, the man who loved nothing but a shadow, and the nymph who became one. In the ancient city of Thespiae, a child was born of the river god Cephisus and the nymph Liriope. His name was Narcissus, and even as an infant his beauty was so striking that it seemed to belong to the gods themselves. Liriope, fearful of what such perfection might bring to her beloved son, sought the counsel of the renowned blind seer Tiresias. The prophet's warning was as simple as it was chilling.
He will live to a very old age, provided he never recognizes himself.
Years passed, and Narcissus grew to a youth of unparalleled beauty. He became a hunter, wandering the hills of Mount Kithaeron, but his heart was as cold as winter. Countless admirers, both mortal and divine, fell under his spell, yet he rejected every hand reached out to him, for he found no one worthy of his gaze. Among those who watched him from the shadows was Echo, a beautiful laureate nymph carrying a heavy burden. There was a time when Echo had been a favorite of the gods, known for her endless chatter and quick wit. But when Zeus sought to hide his many earthly affairs from Hera, he employed the nymph to distract his wife with her endless stories. Inevitably, the Queen of Olympus discovered the deception, and her vengeance was absolute. With cold fury, Hera cursed Echo to never speak her own thoughts again. She would only have the power to repeat the last words of others. One afternoon, while Narcissus was hunting stags in the deep woods, he became separated from his companions and called out into the silence. "Is anyone here?" Echo, hiding among the trees, could only answer, "Here?" Confused, the young man shouted, "Come!" And the nymph soon replied, "Come." At last, believing he had found a comrade, Narcissus cried, "Let us join together!" And Echo, her heart gleaming with hope, emerged from the trees to embrace him, repeating, "Join together." But as soon as she touched him, Narcissus recoiled in disgust. "Keep your hands from me!" he shouted. "I would rather die than yield to a nymph." Humiliated and broken, Echo fled to the deepest caves of the mountains. There she stood for the rest of her days, refusing to eat or sleep, until her body withered away under the weight of her grief. At the end, nothing remained but her sweet voice, which still answers the calls of travelers among the hills, as if still seeking some company. But the cruelty of Narcissus did not go unpunished for long. Another suitor, named Ameinias, soon fell for him, but all he received was rejection and mockery. In a final act of coldness, Narcissus gave him a sword to end his life, dismissing him as worthless. And so the heartbroken youth did, falling upon the blade at the very doorway of the hunter he loved. But before the end, he raised the final prayer to the gods. May he who loves not others but himself never possess the object of his desire. Nemesis, the goddess of divine retribution, heard his plea. One day, exhausted from the hunt, Narcissus came upon a silver-clear pool in a secluded glade. No man, no animal had ever touched its waters, no leaf had ever fallen to disturb its glassy surface. As he leaned down to quench his thirst, the young man saw a face more beautiful than any he had ever seen. Mesmerized by the bright eyes and the shimmering hair, he did not realize he was looking at his own reflection. He believed he had finally found a companion worth his love. He reached into the water to embrace the image, but it shattered at his touch. He tried to kiss the lips, but touched only cold water. He waited for the image to return, weeping as he watched the reflection's eyes fill with the same sorrow he felt. He stayed by the pool for many days, forgetting food and sleep, feeling the strength leaving his limbs. He was consumed by a passion for a shadow that could never love him back. At last the prophecy of Tiresias was fulfilled. Narcissus had finally come to know himself, and this knowledge was fatal. Before drawing his final breath, Narcissus looked one last time into the mirror of the water and whispered, "Alas, dear boy, beloved in vain, farewell." From the shadows the sweet voice of Echo repeated, "Farewell." As Narcissus' soul departed for the Underworld, he followed the cold, sunless paths until he reached the banks of the river Styx. Even upon the boat of Charon, who ferries the souls of the dead, he leaned over the side to look into the black waters, still searching for the beauty he could never reach. When the nymphs came to bury his body, they found it gone. In its place stood a new flower, white-petaled with a center of gold, its head bowed toward the water as if admiring its own image. It was the Narcissus, and just like him, it was as beautiful as it was poisonous to grasp. If you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. It means the world to me to share with you the myths and stories of my homeland. If there's one thing to take from today's tale, let it be this: a mere reflection can never offer us warmth. When we only look at ourselves, we're each becoming as fragile and poisonous as the flower that bears the name of Narcissus. If you enjoyed this video, please stay tuned for the next episode of Greek Mythology, and until next time, take care.